Slipknot is celebrating their 25th anniversary, and in a new interview with Corey and Clown, Corey is revisiting some of his old feuds and was even asked to rank his past feuds involving Nickelback, MGK, and Limp Bizkit, and his answer was quite interesting. For those of you who don't remember these feuds, this is what went down those years ago. Slipknot has been embroiled in a number of feuds over the years, and Corey Taylor is revisiting 3 of them on the new episode of Hot Ones, where he and Clown discuss the band's 25th anniversary and a number of other interesting subjects. First, let's revisit the feud with Nickelback. It was back in 2017 when vocalist Chad Kroeger was talking to Metal Covenant. He was drinking some beers and he opened up on his thoughts about Slipknot and Stone Sour, to which Chad said, "I can't think of another band that's as diverse as we are." The interviewer mentioned Stone Sour, to which he said, "Stone Sour was trying to be Nickelback." He said, "They're okay, but they're not as good as Nickelback. They sound like Nickelback light." He then dissed Slipknot. He said, "They had to put on masks and jump around. How good can your music be if you've got to beat each other up on stage? Throw up in your own masks every night. Music shouldn't come with a gimmick. Music should just be music." And he got tired of sitting behind a mask. He wanted people to know what he looks like. So he started Stone Sour. Of course, as most of you already know, Corey was a member of Stone Sour prior to joining Slipknot. And for those of you who can remember the nu metal magic of the early 2000s, when Limp Bizkit and Slipknot feuded, it was unfortunately my 2 all-time favorite bands feuding with each other. In an appearance on an Australian TV show to promote their tour, Taylor was asked about whether or not there was a feud with Limp Bizkit, at which point Taylor said he heard that Fred Durst had called Slipknot fans a bunch of fat, ugly kids. He responded to the question. "You would have to ask the Limp Bizkit question." He said, "I'm a fat, ugly kid, and Slipknot fans, for the most part, enjoy all kinds of music, like Limp Bizkit, maybe. So what you're basically saying is that your fans are fat, ugly kids too? You want to talk shit about people you care about?" Thankfully, the Limp Bizkit and Slipknot feud is long since squashed. And with Limp Bizkit playing stadiums with Metallica, one has to wonder, could we ever see a Slipknot and Limp Bizkit tour? I imagine a lot of you out there are like me, and you love Slipknot and Limp Bizkit. So this leaves us with the infamous Slipknot and Machine Gun Kelly feud. Things all got started during a performance at Riot Fest, when Machine Gun Kelly, out of the blue, dissed the band. He told the crowd, "You want to know what I'm really happy that I'm not doing? Being 50 years old, wearing a weird mask on a stage, talking shit. So anyways, what's everyone's favorite candy? Reese's Pieces?" After facing significant backlash online from the maggots, MGK responded, saying that the disagreement emerged after Corey and MGK had a falling out over a feature on his album, Tickets to My Downfall. MGK said, "Corey did a verse for a song on Tickets to My Downfall album. It was effing terrible, so I didn't use it. He got mad about it and talked shit to a magazine about the same album he was almost on. Y'all's stories are all off. Just admit he's bitter." Corey would respond with receipts, saying in fact, he never recorded the feature and declined to do it. He said, "I don't like people airing private shit like a child, so this is all I'll say. I didn't do the track because I don't like when people try to write for me. I said no to them. So, without further ado, receipts. This is all I'm going to say about it." And in all of these past 3 feuds, it seems to be water under the bridge. In fact, Corey even says he and Machine Gun Kelly are a lot alike, and he actually likes some of his music. And so now on a new episode of Hot Ones, you have Corey asked to rank these 3 feuds, and his response is really funny because the entire time Clown is sitting there egging him on. Meanwhile, they're trying to get through eating these extremely, extremely hot wings, and it's really, really good stuff. But this is what Corey had to say when ranking these 3 feuds. Corey said, "I love that this is coming up as I'm doing all this work on myself. If I were to answer with my current self, I would say that a lot of the things that I said were based off my own ego, my own insecurities, my own arrogance." So Corey's being very open here, and you've seen him earlier this year speaking about mental health, and he's been doing a lot of work on himself, which is really great to see. And so he's pointing out his own personal side of things, and he's being really, really reflective about it. He seems to be in a good place. And so this is though he did give them what his former self would say in ranking these feuds, and here's what it was. He ranked the feuds from best to worst, and he says, "If I were to say that with that ugly ego, I would say at the top, I would put Limp Bizkit because creatively, there are so many factors to that band that show and have been explored. And my issues truly weren't even with Limp Bizkit. They were with Fred. It wasn't about the band. It was just about what Fred represented at the time, the things that were being said, and the people in the band that were actually saying things about us. I just remember at the time when Slipknot and Limp Bizkit were feuding, these are my two favorite bands, and to see that, I'm just like, can y'all stop fighting? And if I could fantasy book a tour, can you imagine what a Slipknot and Limp Bizkit tour would do right now with both of these bands having such a strong resurgence with new metal coming back? I can't imagine what that would do. I mean, it seems like Limp Bizkit already has a very busy schedule with these stadium shows with Metallica, but if I could fantasy book a tour, y'all, let me know. Imagine what a Limp Bizkit and Slipknot tour would do. It'd be crazy. And in the middle, Corey says he would rank MGK in the number 2 spot. He says, I would put MGK in the middle. Before the beef, I did have respect for him, and I liked his music. We butted heads ego-wise and creatively because of a song he and Travis invited me to be on. He and me are very similar, and I hope he's figuring shit out because I know he's been through some dark shit. And in last place, Corey is ranking his feud with Nickelback when Chad called the band out and said they didn't have any hits, despite the fact that Slipknot, of course, is a worldwide global touring band. So was Stone Sour. And I love Nickelback as well, by the way. Again, this is just another one of those feuds that is under the bridge, but here is what Corey had to say. He said, I'll put Nickelback last because honestly, they're just a musical echo. It's just the same thing. He added, there's some stuff of theirs that I like. I thought How You Remind Me was a really good song. I really like Nickelback too, but that's a band I don't think they could tour together. While I think Limp Bizkit and Slipknot makes a lot of sense, I don't really think that you would be able to pull off a Nickelback and Slipknot tour. I want to say, in addition to Slipknot being a great live band, if you haven't seen Nickelback, they really do put on one hell of a show. They're a tremendous live band. They really put on a badass show. Go check them out. And of course, you can see this full appearance on Hot Ones now. It was really cool. They're masked up. They got their full gear out, and they seem to be having a really good time. Of course, Slipknot celebrating their 25th anniversary. You've got shows coming up. I think they're getting ready to head to Europe soon, and so it's going to be a great thing for those of you getting to catch those shows over there as well, because for those of us who have seen them over here, on this 25th anniversary tour, they're firing on all cylinders. Anyways, that is your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.